So what happened? These people from India, they migrated. And what happened? There was so much talk about the traditions of Karbala without any understanding. What's the role of Imam Hussain? Did Imam just come, so we should just cry and beat ourselves and cry and beat ourselves and then forget about everything else? Unfortunately, there are some people who do that. They think just by doing that, on Judgment Day, their hands will be saved, their chest will be saved, and they'll be entering paradise. It's like the Christian who robs the cross. For Jesus died for my sins. God is saying there are no shortcuts to this business. Don't you dare think that just by rubbing your cross you're going to enter paradise. Don't fool yourself. Nobody has dared ever come in front of God and say, I'm just going to rub you one of your iconic symbols and God, you will make me enter. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You find that these people, good people, they moved to Trinidad, Indians. And they continued to do what they call this procession for Imam Hussain. Shaitan was watching, says, good. A lot of ignorance here. We will take it and we will make it bigger. We will help them. The evil forces says we will help them. How? You find who are the ones who come from all over the world. It's a big event. This is one of the biggest events that takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. You find that they come down there. You find Hindus, people from all over the world, experts who are experts in making these very ornate sarcophagi. You find that they come and they make it, and then there's this display. And to my sadness, it starts around 2 nights before Ashura, and the calypso drums start. It starts, you almost get intoxicated with this calypso drum. It's almost like there is this mythical movement of calypso drums, and then people holding whiskey bottles, alcohol is everywhere, and then you got these 2 half moons. One is called Fehsà, and one is called Hosà. This is true. And then you find these 2 half moons. Look, moons even. The Messenger of Allah says, Qamar Bani Hashim. These are the moons of Banu Hashim. You find how they did it. The 2 half moons, massive half moons. 4 or 5 people would be holding this moon, and they'd be dancing in circles like dervishes, moving in circles to show their love for God. How Shaitan infiltrated, because there was no rationality in it. And when we went down there, it was prayer time. I said to the brother who was financing this movement, I said, it's time for prayers. He said, what is that? We don't pray. I said, what do you mean we don't pray? I mean, I don't get it. We're Muslims. He says, yeah, but we don't pray. I said, it's time to start. You know, God forbid what happens to us. I mean, what are we doing here? You know, and then you see all these people giving you this day. There were a few, of course, mashallah, that were prayerful, but it was almost like they were hidden. How can it be? And then I asked the people, who's Fehsà? He says, Fehsà is the brother of Hussain. I see. And what happened? He said, didn't you know? Fehsà killed Hussain. Oh, I see. I said, which Fehsà are you talking about? The 2 brothers that came, the Prophet said, really? Did you know that Imam Hassan, who you call Fehsà, died 10 years before Imam Hussain? Did you know that? He said, no. I said, how could he kill him? He was dead. He says, we didn't know that. I said, who gave you all this story? This is what our forefathers told us, and we continue to do it. And then I see this woman holding whiskey bottles, jumping, Fehsà, Hussain, Fehsà. I said, what's going on? Ashura, and it follows a lunar calendar. Subhanallah, meaning every Ashura this takes place. If you want to see Shaitan snubbing it, saying, your little tradition that you have considered. And I was crying. I said, Imam Hussain went to Karbala for this. I looked around, and people were getting drunk and wild. And I said, these are not bad people. These are a confused bunch. These are people who don't know night from day. But within those circles, the ones who became Muslims in that community, they were strong believers. They looked at us and said, brother, show us where the truth lies. We will come in front of these people and we will pass pamphlets to teach them what is wrong and what is right. And maybe we will change this procession. It's a tough job. Once it's become so traditional, you notice now emotions have become so high with the calypso drum, with the imbibing of alcohol, astaghfirullah. You find now the pendulum swung completely on the opposite side, which is totally baseless and meaningless. How painful that is for us to see. I always say to myself, I said, that will happen to us all. If we do not merge the message of God correctly, where Quran must always be maintained. Salah. Probably these people went astray because there was no prayer. They thought by doing this, God will give them entry into paradise. When they forgot, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Successful is the believer, the one who approaches prayer with humility. Nothing else. You find on the day of judgment, this is what's going to be questioned. Imam Ali ﷺ mentioned this. He said, no prophet ever left this earth without uttering his last breath and saying, Salah, as-salah, prayer, prayer. There was a man of Bani Israel who comes and asks Imam Ali ﷺ, he asked the people, who was the man who witnessed the last moment of the prophet? Of your prophet. And people pointed them to Imam Ali alayhi salam. And they went to Imam Ali alayhi salam and asked him. And they said, were you the witness? He said, yes, the messenger died on my chest. And the man of Bani Israel says, what was the last words he uttered? And Imam says, as-salah, as-salah. And the man of Bani Israel says, I bear witness there is no God but God. But Allah. And that He is the last messenger. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.